Hi, I'm Oliver Grenham. I'm the Chief Education Officer in Adams County School District 50, and I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about the big topic of competency-based education. It's very in vogue in the literature, but there's been a lot of new developments, even though this has been around since the 1960s in some form or other. When we think of successful kids, these are the characteristics that we want, both as a parent and as an educator, and this is what employers say they want as well. They want employees with these skills, but yet they moan that the kids are not coming to them with these skills. And as schools, we spend a lot of time on that very first one and tend to ignore the rest. But looking at the amount of information that's coming forward all the time, it's doubling at a very, very exponential rate. Back in the 1900s, we had schools around back then, they didn't have a lot of information to deal with. It's grown. So we have to figure out, what do we package for students? From industrial trends, as we look at the information that's available there is less and less routine work occurring for graduates. It's occurring perhaps in third world countries where there's less educated population, or machines and computers are doing it. So we end up where we need to have learning for all our students, not just some, for all. Here are two of the issues that we see in today's system. We have a lot of students dropping out across the nation, 7,000. We have a lot of students that do not reach proficiency. What are we doing about it? We need to get to this moral imperative of learning for every single student because of the way the global economy is beginning to work. We're not competing locally, we're competing globally. So we haven't been sitting on our hands. We have been making some changes, but my favorite quote from Albert Einstein is this one right here. We need to think differently about how we're doing our work. We need to think not just in fragments, but we need to think in whole systems approach as to how we change what it is we do. And in my school district, Adams 50, we think schooling should be more like Ride the Rockies. I had a friend who did this back in 2009, so I kind of got interested in what he was doing, why he was doing it. It's a race. And this particular one in 2009 is 380 miles. They have since increased the distance, so I guess they've raised their expectations. But the goal is finish the race. No matter who you are or what you do, finish the race. Doesn't matter so much about the time. Get it done. It's also, what's your training program? That's your personalized piece. What am I going to do to train myself to get this race done? And then the services are provide emergency services, repair service along the way. That's exactly what our competence-based model is. It's based on those four tenets. Learning matters the most, get it done. Time matters the least, time's the variable. Personalized delivery, how do I access my education as a student? And then breaking that out and what the learning matters the most. Look like these are some of the characteristics. I'm not going to go into each one of them, but we have our students in levels based according to performance, demonstrated performance. They move at any point during the year, so time's the variable. If I'm ready and done with this level, I've shown my evidence, I move on to the next level. And that happens at any point, and when kids come back at the end of the summer, they pick up where they left off from the year before. Personalized delivery is, what does that student need? And I'll use one example there. It's goals. They do goal setting with their teachers. They do short and long-term goals. The goals provide the structure and the motivation for the learning to happen within the time frame for it to happen, and that gives the student choice and voice. So it acts as a promoter in terms of their learning. But you have to change your system to support all that. There's incredible teacher needs around professional development. There are system needs around technology. You have to get everybody on the same page to be able to provide that across the system, because the journey for a preschool kid should be consistent all the way through to graduation. I like to use this quote here, and this really speaks to, we need to be teaching our kids not content per se, but how to be lifelong learners and how to adapt with the changes that come. They are going to be lifelong learners. When I was in school, that was sort of something that might happen. Here's an example of some characteristics of learner-centered classrooms versus traditional classrooms. As adults in our system, we had to be learners to change how we were programmed to do things and trained to do things to become more learner-centered. Thank you.